we do. What a treat it is for us this morning to have someone that I am just madly in love with. I'm just going to say it right out. I'm madly in love with her. Reverend Cynthia James has been influential in Centers for Spiritual Living for many, many years, and she was integral in the Ministries of Agape in Los Angeles, California with Dr. Michael Beckwith. And then she was whisked away from there to go and be a part of the main ministerial team at Mile High, which is the Center for Spiritual Living in Denver, Colorado, and the largest center that exists within our movement. And so she's played in some major arenas, and out of that has gleaned such an amazing following as a transformational coach. She's always been in the music aspect of that as well, but more importantly, she's just been an immense support system for me. And I love her because without fail, every single time I've reached out to her, she has reached out and leaned in and loved me up and loved this community. It's not her first time here. In fact, I believe it's her third time here. Please give her a warm welcome, Reverend Cynthia James.
Thank you. Ready, ladies? I know where I'm going. I know where I've been. Opening the spirit to find the love within. Letting go of judgment, letting go of fear, opening my heart so I can truly hear. I am traveling on to another place. I am traveling on. God is lifting me to a higher place. God is lifting me. God always sees the love in me, the love in me, that's the promised land. God always sees the love in me, the love in me, that's the promised land. Though there may be mountains I may have to climb, I can trust that love is gonna be there every time. I'll keep trusting Spirit, God's almighty ways. No matter what is happening, there will be a brighter day. 'Cause I am traveling on to another place. I am traveling on. See, God is lifting me to a higher place. God is lifting me. God always sees the love in me, the love in me, that's the promised land. God always sees the love in me, the love in me, that's the promised land. Okay, ladies, here we go. Promised land. God always sees the love in me, the love in me, that's the promised land. Thank you, band. You all know how fabulous this band is. Thank you. I mean, we come in at 8:30 in the morning. We have not done this together before, and they go bam, bam, bam. Thank you so much. Penelope, you're an angel. I'm so excited to be here. You know, I said it in the first service that, you know, David inviting me here says, I trust you with my family. So grateful. And with ladies, I just want to tell you that you all are. I'm so excited to be here for the Women's Conference, but the work that you do behind the scenes, celebrate you. Thank you. So my topic today is grace under fire. So grace for me is the unconditional sharing of gifts, support, and divine assistance without effort. Meaning you don't have to do anything to get it. It's always present. It's not always easy to remember that because we're living in some very interesting times. Right? It's easy to get knocked off center. It's easy to go into states of anger and mistrust and judgment and feeling kind of like we're hopeless, right? But the thing is that if grace is always there, God is always there. If grace is always there, love is always there. If grace is always there, there is a way out of no way. And so we just stand in that awareness that that's powerful. Now, what I'd love to tell you is that I've always been enlightened. But no, quite a journey in my life, quite a journey to get to understanding that I really was in partnership with the divine, that the crazy abusive childhood and all the interesting choices that I made through life, you know, could be transformed in a moment. I could change it. I could shift it in a moment. So stepping into that grace meant that I had to open. I want to tell you what Anne Lamott says. As soon as I turned it up right that side up so I can see it, right? She says, I do not at all understand the mystery of grace, only that it meets us where we are, but does not leave it where it found us. And Pope Francis says, grace is not part of our consciousness. It is the amount of light in our souls, not knowledge or reason. We are light. It is who we are at the core and the essence of our being. What dims the ability to shine the light is when we move into mistrust of our divinity. When we forget that we're here by divine appointment. When we forget that God's grace is our sufficiency. And so I want to talk about that today because I've had some amazing experiences, you know. Like David said, I was at Agape and Mile High, and 3 years ago, I stepped out of being inside the walls of a church, and I became an entrepreneur because I wanted to take our messages out in the world in a different way. Now, I'd never been an entrepreneur, and so that was a journey. That's probably another talk. But what it's done for me is it's invited me into trusting God in a way I had never done before. To look at challenges, because every time there's a challenge, every time there's something that comes up that triggers us, I believe it's a fire in the soul that says, this is time to grow. This is time to heal. Now that's the good news and the interesting news. Because it's not easy. So I want to tell you a story today of something that happened recently where I had to dive deeper into grace. So I've been very intentional about expanding my work in the world, especially with women. And so my latest book is about women. It's called I Choose Me. And I got invited to go to Africa to speak and teach at a women's conference in Uganda. And I was very excited about it. And I knew this was a God shot because Africa wasn't on my radar. I had a huge schedule flying all over the place through the end of summer. But this was like, you have to say yes to this. So I go to Africa, I go to Uganda, and we're supposed to be there. This team of people are supposed to be there to teach them. I walked out more inspired, I'm sure, because these women were creating things out of nothing. They were committed to community, taking children, guiding women. It was incredible. At the end of the 3 days, I got to go on a gorilla trek. Now, I'd like you all to look at me. I am not an outdoor person. But it was an opportunity, yes. You know, when I work out and stuff, I'm like, cool. What they didn't tell you is that you have to hike in an hour into the rainforest. Then they go, now we're going to go off-road. I'm thinking we were off-road, right? And so these trackers come, and then there's these two guys with guns. They go, now don't be afraid of the guns. This is just in case some big animal comes and we have to shoot in the air to run them off. I'm like, ah! And then they go, oh, and by the way, you see that thing right there? Yeah, that's an elephant hoof. I mean, not a hoof. What are they? Foot. Thank you. Huge people. So I'm like, okay, it's all good. So they told us what not to do and how to be with the gorillas because we're going to be in their area for an hour. We get in, and we're not in there 30 seconds, and a baby gorilla goes across the road. I'm like, oh, and then there's a silverback munching, and they're flying. They're in the trees, and I'm like, wow. Then I realized we have to follow them. So they are cutting down stuff, and we're climbing over stuff. At one point, I went, OMG, I am in my 60s. What am I doing out here? I was like, wow. So then we get to this place, and there was this baby gorilla, and they were telling us that they were watching her because she was limping. And this is when something profound happened. You know, we've got our little cameras out, and we're clicking, because as long as we don't have flash, we're fine. And all of a sudden, she turns her head, and she locks eyes with me, and I put the phone down, and I don't know, 45 seconds, we were in this thing. It was the most profound moment of oneness I had ever experienced. I knew we were connected. And so I was filled with so much joy and so much lightness. And then I realized we had to go back up the same way we came down. They have these porters, and they tell you that the porters are to carry your bag. No. The porters are to carry you. I mean, that porter was lifting me up, and this is the funny. The guy said, which one of you thinks you're going to be the slowest? You get to be the leader. You get to set the pace. I'm thinking, oh, that's good. But after a while, I knew everybody was annoyed because I was like, okay, can we stop again to breathe, right? And the porter's helping me. But what it did for me was I realized in that moment that was kind of a metaphor for life. It's like, you know, you say yes to things and you float in and you have these experiences, then you got to come out, and it's not always easy. These things that we teach here are not just principles for you to understand intellectually. They are principles for you to live. And when you're in it, it's not always easy. So after I leave Africa, you know, my husband is with me, and we're flying to different places, and we're doing different stuff. And we get back into Los Angeles, and haven't slept for 20 hours, and, you know, but it's really easy and graceful, because I always pray for that when I travel. So I get the bags, and I step out of customs, and the moment I step out, I realize I have left my backpack with my computer, my keys, and all my stuff right there at the luggage thing. So I turn around, I say to the guy, oh, in my nicest voice, hi, I've left my bag. He goes, you cannot go back in there. Well, then what do I do? He said, go down there. He points to a door, and he says, and see if they can help you. So I run down there, and I run up to the thing and I say, hi, I left my backpack down there. And the lady says, oh, not a problem. She says, they're going to bring the bags here. I'm like, great. She says, minimum hour and a half. Now, I got 4 hours to get on my plane to go to Denver. So I think, okay, this is not bad. But I'm anxious. And all of my ministerial training goes out the window. And I'm like in it, right? So then I said, well, what do I do? What have I done in my life when there's a challenge? What steps have I taken to move out of it? And so the first one is reveal. And that means look at the current reality honestly. What am I feeling? Sad, upset, annoyed. How am I reacting? I want to shut down. I want to yell and blame somebody but myself, right? And then it's like, okay, then what's possible? What are your choices? And the choices, we could walk from the International Center over to Southwest, which is in Los Angeles, a little bit of a walk. We could check in for the other flight and then come back and then know that the bag will be there. We could stay overnight, or I could stay overnight if the bag didn't come and fly in the next day. So all this stuff is coming in. And all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I'm at a point of perturbation. And let me tell you what that is. There was a consultant that came into Mile High, and he's working with us. And he says, I want to talk to you about perturbation. He said, because you can have it organizationally or you can have it individually. And what that is that you're on a trajectory, of growth. And then you hit a wall. A lot of organizations and people, when they hit the wall, they just want to push, what they've been doing, the way they've been doing it, But what that does is it just stops you and then starts a downward spiral. When you're aware that that's what you're in and you understand it's a choice point, then you get to recreate. You get to look at things differently from different perspectives. You get to put on a new pair of glasses. And when you do that, then you create another trajectory of creation. And really that's what you're doing here. That's what 2.0 is. It's a recreation, right? So I'm back in the airport. I realize I'm in a moment of perturbation. And so I go, what if? What if I could make my plane? What would I have to do to open my consciousness to do that? What if I was being stopped in this moment for a reason and I wasn't supposed to get on that plane to Denver? How could I accept that? What if there were other ways for me to release any resistance within me to step into the newness of who I've come here to be? And it looks like this delay. So I decide that I'm going to recreate myself, reinvent myself. I've done that a lot in my life. I've been an actress, I've been a singer, teacher, author, all these different things. And at every moment of creation and recreation, it's about pausing. It takes great courage to pause, y'all. Because don't we want to just rush through and figure it out and just move into action? But when you pause, Ernest Hemingway says that courage is grace under pressure. So I paused and I said, okay, let me think. So Carl and I said, well, look, we've got still hours before our plane goes. Let's walk to Southwest, check in for the other flight, and then if it doesn't work, then, I'll stay at a hotel, get my bag, and fly home, and then he'll pick me up because he's already gone home. So that was the thing. So, but while I'm walking, I'm noticing my monkey mind. I had invited my inner critic to leave, but she was there. And so I've got my bag, and I'm going, and all of a sudden, Ho'oponopono drops in. Now, that was a Dr. Lin in Hawaii who healed a whole ward of criminally insane people by healing himself. Anybody in here who thinks you're going to get somebody to do it your way, I would like you to think again. Because it's all about you. It's all about your healing. So I'm dragging this bag, and I start doing the Ho'oponopono exercise. With music, okay. So I first thing I say is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I wasn't aware of how tired I was. I'm sorry that I wasn't present enough to pick up the bag. I'm sorry that I was annoyed with everybody. I'm sorry that I really wasn't able to just pause and get clear before I stepped out that door. Then I said, please forgive me. Please forgive me for being in such a place of judgment. Please forgive me for not being as nice as I could to my husband who was just trying to help. Please forgive me for not honoring the fact that the body cannot be pushed past its limits. Thank you. Thank you, God, for always taking care of me. Thank you for always nurturing and honoring me. Thank you for this body that was just with the gorillas. Thank you that I have always been able to move and express and expand. Thank you for waking up this morning, for being able to breathe. Thank you. And I love you. I love who you are. I love how you've always said yes to your creativity. I love how you've always wanted to grow and wanted to love people and wanted to be beneficial presence. I love you. And so I kept doing that as I'm walking all the way to Southwest. We check in, we walk back, and I go into the door, and the woman says, no, the bags haven't come yet. And I'm like, okay. So we'll just wait. And so I'm still doing a Ho'oponopono, and I look around, and here comes a very young, handsome Hispanic man with this whole thing of bags. I'm like, thank you, God. So I jump up and I run in, and my bag is not on there. I'm like, no, really? And so I say this to him. I said, I don't understand this. I said, I had a backpack, and it was down there by the carousel. And he's looking at me, and he goes, He says, what did the bag look like? I said, well, it was black. And he goes, oh, it had this orange thing hanging off? Yes. He goes, yes, I saw that. Now, I want to tell you my inner voice. She was like, well, then why didn't you pick it up? I didn't say that, though. I wanted my bag. And so I said, well, can you get it for me? He goes, yeah, it's still down there. He said, but it'll be about an hour and a half to get through customs. I'm like, really? So I say to Carl, surrender. Okay, so you'll just go, get on the plane. We'll wait here another 15 minutes or so. And then you'll do that, and I'll get a hotel. And he goes, okay. So we sit there for 15 minutes or so. And this is what the thing about it is. I always pray first. But this is what I know. Sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes it's no. And sometimes it's not now. But I always know it's right. Then the other part is, it's like, if you're going to reveal something new, which is the third step, if you want to reveal something new, then you have to be in an expectancy of good. But you can't be a magical thinking, oh, I'll just turn this over to God. Well, okay. But God works through us, right? And so when you expect good, though, then what happens is you open the field for something to pop in that was unexpected. 15 minutes later, I turn to the left, and here comes the lovely Hispanic man with my backpack on his shoulder. I jumped up like a 5-year-old, and I run through the airport, and I can see my husband looking at me going, do not hug him. Do not hug him. So I calm down. I go, oh, thank you. And I'm all excited. I said, you're an angel. I said, what's your name? And he says, Anthony. I said, oh, thank you. My name is Cynthia. And he goes, do you believe in destiny? I said, yes. He said, well, this must have been meant to be. The mother of my child's name is Cynthia. I was like, thank you. What I want you to know is like, that, that was maybe a 2.5 hour period of time. But I went through all the gamuts of human emotions, right? And when we're on a spiritual path, we sort of don't want to go there. We don't want to go into that human thing. We don't want to go into seeing ourselves as not being so lovely. But the truth is, it's all part of the human experience. We have to accept it, we have to honor it, and then we have to choose differently. So I don't know what you're going through. I don't know where you are in this moment, but you are on this earth by a divine appointment. Without you, there would be a hole. And so you get to choose in every single moment how you want to show up, how you want to present yourselves, how do you want to live on this planet. You get to choose. And you get to understand that grace is your friend. Life is your friend. I am aware that we are looking at stuff on the planet that is stunning. And I was still in Africa with women who have no resources, who went through stuff in Rwanda, who all this stuff, and were creating and bringing love to the planet because it was their inner call. That's it. There is a goodness everywhere. And it's you. There is light everywhere, and it's you. You get to call on that goodness and that light in every single moment. I love Emma Curtis Hopkins. And she wrote this statement of good. And I want to share it with you. And so I'm going to ask you to uncross your legs, uncross your arms, sit back in your seat so that you can feel yourself on the seat. And I want to remind you that that seat is supporting you without effort. That's how grace works. So I'm going to invite you to just gently close your eyes. Connect to your heart. Recognizing that the heart is intelligent and always supporting you. And very gently begin to breathe into the heart and exhale through the heart. Breathe in through the heart and exhale through the heart. Breathe in that light that you are and exhale love into this space. Breathe in that light and exhale love into this space. And continue to breathe. When I work with clients, I always tell them every answer that you need is present. Let's just uncover it. Breathe it in. The good I am seeking is my God. My God is my life. The good I am seeking is my health. God is my health. The good I am seeking is my strength. God is my strength. The good I am seeking is my support. God is my support. The good I am seeking is my defense. God is my defense. Life is God. Truth is God. Love is God. Substance is God. God is intelligence, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. God is life. Omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. God is truth. Omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. God is love. Omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. God is spirit, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. And so we continue to breathe that in as we move into prayer. Recognizing that that infinite presence, that life, that divine expression is the life that we are living. It is everywhere. It is in thoughts, words, deeds, actions, activities, experiences, circumstances. It is the energy and the essence of all. It is the breath that is breathing us. It is the life that is living us. And because that is the truth for me and everyone that can hear this prayer, and for everyone on this planet, we are connected as consciousness, in consciousness, through consciousness. How powerful, how wonderful to remember, to reawaken to the understanding that God's grace and goodness is pouring forth in every single moment. We simply breathe that in. Open your heart, let the Lord have its own way. Open your heart, let the Lord have its own way. Open your heart, let the Lord have its own way. Open your heart, let the Lord have its own way. And so in this moment, we simply step back. We pause. And we activate that grace-filled energy that is the life that we're living. And so on the altar of light, we place our fears, our doubts, our concerns, our circumstances and life events that may challenge us in any moment. Any diagnosis, any worry, we place on that altar knowing that in every single moment it is transformed. There's a transcendence that is happening, moving us into a space where we open, and at that point of perturbation we choose to recreate, to live more powerfully, to open to infinite possibilities, to ask what if. And so I know that that is the truth of this amazing center. It is in this place of recreation, of knowing that something beautiful and powerful is wanting to be birthed as its very nature. And it is abundant, and it is powerful, and people are being served in ways that they could not have imagined. In fact, people that did not even know this place existed are surprised at the love that is pouring forth. And so I'm grateful in this moment. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak this word. I'm grateful for the opportunity to remember that individually and collectively, we are moved in, as, around, and through grace. And so I trust it. I trust it. And as I let go, I remember. Be in the light. God's will is the way. Let faith be your sight. God's will is the way. We are the light. We are the way. Open your heart. Let the Lord have its own way. And so we let go, trusting the infinite, loving the infinite, knowing that the prayer was heard before the first word was uttered. The answer is yes. The answer is love. The answer is peace. And the answer is harmony. Open your heart. Let the Lord have its own way. Open your heart. Let the Lord have its own way. Open your heart, let the Lord have its own way. Open your heart, let the Lord have its own way. Be in the light, God's will is the way. Let faith be your sight, God's will is the way. Ooh, we are the light, we are the way. Open your heart, let the Lord have its own way. Open your heart, let the Lord have its own way. So it is.
Hi, I'm David Alt, and I simply want to say thanks. Thanks for taking the time to watch our broadcast here at Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. We have a vision, and that vision is to reawaken all to their spiritual magnificence. And one of the ways that we are able to do that is through this very medium of broadcasting. So if you got anything out of this, if you felt in any way inspired, or if something spoke to you directly, then I extend an invitation to you to become a part of our family by donating. And there are many ways in order for you to be able to do that. One is to simply go to our website at slca.com, and there you will find all different kinds of prompts that will help you support what it is that we are doing here in Atlanta. One way is to become a pledger. That means that you decide on a monthly basis that you are going to help us with this vision. Another way is to donate through our management system called Fellowship One, another through PayPal, and another even easier way is on your cell phone. You can do what's called text to tithe, and that number is 404-796-7030. Again, thank you so much for your support, and I invite you to come back weekly to see what it is that we're up to. Blessings.